What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder, and this time we're doing a patch overview, how I think this patch compares to the previous ones, how I think the current game state is compared to what it used to be. But before we get into that, I'm going to make a couple of announcements. Some things that have just been asked that I answered, like, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. Um, but I thought I should just make a new updated video. So if you didn't see my, update a couple of weeks ago, for streaming, I am probably going to be able to start off, hopefully, uh, about twice a month. And twice a month, probably on every other Saturday, for probably 1 to 3 hours. I'm not quite sure, about that. I haven't quite had time to set up the recording stuff on my laptop, make sure it's actually going to work, do a couple test fires before I actually get people, started. So yeah, that's the streaming update. Another thing is Warthunder, I know, or Gaijin, however you want to say it, just released a new game. So here's what I'm gonna do with that. If I'm gonna wait probably about a month or two and see how the game is doing. I know it's not in final, of course. I mean, not even War Thunder's in out of beta yet, but I do want to wait at least probably a month or two just to see how the game's going. See if it kind of launches. I know Fly Daily's doing it, um, but I kind of want to see if the game takes off, where it's heading, and if it's actually going to start getting big. It's not really, it doesn't really look like my biggest type of thing, but that's what I said about War Thunder 2 when I joined in, and here we are now 3 years later, and I am still playing it. So it could probably grow on me, and let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Let me know if you want to see any of that, and I will get back to you. Okay, so let's talk about War Thunder for reals now. Okay, so patch 1.57. This is not including ships. This is pre-ship, pre-18th century warship. But I will kind of talk about that too. Okay, so current game meta. I think it has been fixed. Actually, I'm sorry. That was a bland statement. I think that a lot of the problems have been maybe not totally fixed, but it bettered. So we did fly out the F8F in the last video. And real quick before we get any further, I just would like to say that this is completely my opinion based, 100%. You may have a totally different opinion, and this is guaranteed to change. So as soon as the next patch rolls out, at least the next big patch, information is going to be completely outdated if it's changed. So, I mean, right now it is April 6th. So if it's past that and patch 1.6, 1 point whatever comes out, this information is probably not valid anymore. Okay, so the current in-game American teams, for some reason, seems to be better than it has been in the past couple patches for me. Now, I'm not sure if that's because some American planes were down-tiered. I'm not sure if that's just because I've been getting lucky, and, I've had really great teams like the one in my F8F video. But that seems to be a more common trend now than it did, a couple weeks ago. So I'm very, very happy to say that. Of course, though, that could change any second. Okay, so jets. After flying the Mk.3 BIS and the Sabres and everything, the in-game, I say that end-game, it seems to not be as bad. I know the Horton got a battle rating change, and those planes are at a really, really weird area because the Horton didn't, there were prototypes of it, but it didn't really fly. I've talked about this before, so where do you put it? In my opinion, it should not be fighting MiG-15 BIS, which I don't think it does anymore. The CL-13, it shouldn't be fighting that kind of stuff. It should not be fighting, top tier jets. It's just, it does not have the engine performance to do that. Now, maybe once they put in the better Horton, with the, I think the Mk.3, V3, now it's going to be a better plane, and I've heard rumors that that will eventually be put into the game. I think they're the BMW engines, but don't take my word on that. I'm no German, avionics professor. So let's talk about the Russians. I mean, the Russians they haven't really changed. They still do great. And nothing has really changed with them. People have been talking about Japanese tanks coming in, and it's kind of hard to do because Japanese tanks aren't as big as the other countries were. Baron made a video on this, so if you want to know more about this, go watch his stuff. But supposedly that they did have a lot of kind of aquamarine and land vehicles, those types of stuff. So I mean, that would be cool to put in Warthunder. But I think people are most hyped about ships, and yeah, that will be coming in a couple future patches. We don't really know when, but it is coming eventually. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about the new added planes, the P-61 and all the German ones. And I'm not going to talk about tanks because I haven't got that far, and I'm not going to talk about anything that I don't know for sure. People have asked me when I'm going to make a P-61 video, and the answer is not until that thing is fixed. I absolutely hate that plane. I mean, don't get me wrong, the armament is amazing. The plane, dogfights extremely well. It's the weird gunner, and the fact that I am terrible with bomber and, heavy fighter sorted vehicles, just not really my thing. And, until that gunner gets fixed, I am not going to mess with it. Now, I mean, that could be fixed any micro patch, so, that could be fixed really without warning. And if it does, I'll go ahead and make a new video on it. Okay, so let's talk about the Do 335. That plane is awesome. I mean, twin engine, you can't really go wrong, and people have made tons of videos on it. I kind of wanted to do, kind of let all those videos get out before I make mine, because they are at the beginning of a patch, and as we know, people like to make patches, or, Gaijin likes to make patches, and then update the planes, a couple days later once they see how it performs in, real game. So I don't really like to make plane reviews the very first day unless they're very, very first impressions. But then if they change it, it's kind of dumb because then I kind of have to make a second first impression. So I like to give it a couple days to a couple weeks before I make those videos. But, I mean, it is a really, really great plane. Now the TAL 152, the new one that came in, I just want to love that plane so much. It's incredible. I still like the way it flies. I know it doesn't perform like everybody says it should, in reality that it should. But I still love the plane. It's like the HE-162 video. It sucks, and it's not really good, but I love it for some weird reason, and I can't really tell you why, because I don't know. It's just one of those planes. Okay, so let's get into future patches. Okay, so we kind of got a taste for ships with that April Fool's update. My gosh, that was so much fun. As you guys know, I did put some extra game clip there at the end of that video, so if you want to go watch that, go ahead and watch that. And it's completely unedited. It's not talked over. It's just normal footage. So that's where you can catch some more of that. But if that is how ships is going to work, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, obviously, I don't think they're going to start with 18th century ships. I'm guessing probably World War I, World War II. And it is going to be a lot of fun because for the first time in forever, hopefully, you will be able to jump in a game and not just fly your plane, but sail your ship and, drive your tank out. Now, when I said I was kind of unfamiliar with tanks, I am super unfamiliar with names of Navy boats, just beyond that. So I would love to learn more about Navy boats when they come out. I mean, I think they're awesome. I mean, there's no thinking. It's a big part of American history. It's a big part of world history, the German U-boats and everything. Changed the course of history forever. So, obviously, they are very, very important to learn about. But it would kind of be cool to, take out your early Americans and take out your P-40 and your early Shermans and, just mix it up. And for once, have an actual full battle. And right now, the tank and airplane mix-up is kind of a small map, but if you guys remember that Enduring Confrontation, I believe it was a couple weeks ago, where you had like all-out planes. I meant to make a video on it, but sadly enough, the actual capture got a little weird, and it just wasn't worth putting online. But you actually got to respawn in a realistic battle and go back out and take flights like it was a real World War II battle. It was really, really awesome, and I kind of hope that's how it is, with fairly large maps and tanks and planes and ships, everywhere destroying each other. It's going to be a lot of fun. I do hope they kind of put some more optimization in. I noticed that I only got about 30 FPS while recording, maybe 28, which you didn't notice a lot because ships, especially 18th century ships, are moving very, very slowly. So you didn't really notice that, but if I was flying a plane, trust me, you would notice. Now, I know it's obviously harder to render because you have the clouds, you have the tidal waves, you have all the tides and all the trees and everything on the islands, but I would like a little bit more optimization. Now, of course, ships aren't out, so that's probably due to come. But I did notice quite a bit of performance hindrance, and when I'm not recording, I do play on maxed out settings, and I still got about, it was probably 5 to 10 FPS lower than it would be on tanks, so I would like that to be bumped up to at least tank, at least tank specifications for FPS. Now, of course, people with huge, Titan X rigs and i7s, obviously they're not going to care. I mean, the game was already pretty well optimized. It's not going to be like Batman or anything. So if you have a really, really high-end computer, you're probably not even going to notice. I mean, running at 100, 120 FPS, what's the difference? 5 FPS. You're not going to notice it. But for people with lower-end stuff, or maybe laptops or something that play around 30 FPS, you're obviously going to want all of the actual help you can get from Gaijin into optimizing your game. And I normally get around, at least in airplane matches, I get around anywhere from 55 to 80 FPS on max settings. So, I mean, that's fine and all, but I would like more optimization. So guys, I want you to let me know what you think of this current patch, what I said, what you want in current or future patches, what you think ships are going to be like, when they're going to come. Let me know everything you think down in the comments below. If you like what you saw, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.